NASCAR Championship weekend has arrived at Phoenix Raceway. We are crowning 4 champions over 3 days in Avondale, Arizona. This is the Inside Lane. I am your host, Devon Henry. Join us as someone racing for that hardware looking to raise the Bill France Cup. He is the 2016 ARCA Menard Series champion, a 2-time Chili Bowl A main qualifier, and a member of this year's Championship 4 at Phoenix Raceway. Driver of the Joe Gibbs Racing number 19 Toyota Camry, the third-generation racer from Mitchell, Indiana, it's Chase Briscoe! Chase, thanks for joining me!
Yeah, thanks for having me. I always enjoy getting on here and talking with you.
Chase, it's always such a blast being able to chat with you, especially with all you got going on right now. But dude, I gotta know, what was more stressful? That last lap to win at Talladega to put yourself in the championship 4, or having this championship season with 3 kids 4 years and under?
They're both very stressful. I would say the kids are a little more predictable than even what Talladega is. So yeah, I guess Talladega was a little more nerve-wracking. Just because, I mean, it can change so fast. I mean, we saw it with William Byron. I mean, he was in a great position, 200 yards away from the finish line and ends up like 25th. So yeah, I would say Talladega was probably a little more stressful.
But not by a lot, just a little. Just a
Just
little.
a little bit. It's definitely a close toss-up.
Well, now you're ready to go to Phoenix Raceway for a shot to win a championship. The last time that you were at Phoenix Raceway, though, in November, you stepped out of your hero's race car for the last time. Go back a couple years before that. In March, you won your first ever NASCAR Cup Series race at Phoenix Raceway. Is there a moment from that weekend or maybe another weekend at Phoenix that still sticks out to you? Maybe not day to day, but occasionally just pops in your mind here and there?
Yeah, I mean, both of those are very, I guess milestone moments in my life. Obviously that first cup win and just the emotions that, came along with that day and just, you work your whole life just to try to even get to the Cup Series. And, whenever you're able to cross that mountaintop of, at least winning a race, I just remember I knew it was a big deal to myself, but I didn't realize how many people that I had worked with throughout my life or, team owners or friends, how big of a deal it was to even for them for me to win a race. And so that was obviously a huge part of my life and just a huge moment in my life. And then you go to, a year ago and I mean, I remember sitting on the grid after we fired up the engines and just crying because this chapter of my life was coming to an end. It was a car and just a number that meant so much to me. And just the relationships I had built with those guys, and even, just the guys, girls, everybody that worked at Stewart-Haas. I was there for, 8 or 9 years of my life. And, knowing that that chapter was coming to a close, it was a very, emotional thing. And then now, fast forward a year and, I have a chance to be a champion in the Cup Series and stand on the front straightaway just like I did when I won that day. It's, definitely going to be, an emotional day, I guess, just knowing what could happen. But at the end of the day, it is just another race. You just have to go there and try to do your best, and hopefully the result will be the same as it was, in March of 2022.
And if you go all the way back to where this story first began, first of all, you weren't necessarily supposed to get in a race car. I know your dad was kind of like, oh, hold on a second here, but your roots are dirt racing. And I know that you've already announced that you're done with dirt racing, at least for now, but you're retired from dirt racing. But that's where you come from. That's the roots. I was wondering if there's anything, whether it be on the racetrack, off the racetrack, any good or bad habits that still exist from your time dirt racing when you're younger.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's the foundation of who I am as a race car driver. Just the things I do inside the race car are all because of, habits that sprint cars have taught me. And, some are good, some are bad. Some of them are good and bad on the same day. I would say one of the things is just how, I'm always searching, right? On the racetrack, it's very similar to, dirt. You have to change what you're doing almost lap in and lap out because the groove and the grip level, everything's changing. And, in the cup car, that probably gets me in trouble a lot of the times because I search too much. Like I'm always trying to do something different. And, it is good because I feel like I find speed doing that, but it's also bad because when I find the speed, I don't necessarily repeat it. I keep trying to search around and try to find something even better. And yeah, I don't know. There's a ton of stuff I feel like that's kind of similar to that. But yeah, I would say the whole foundation of, who I am as a race car driver, certainly all based around dirt racing and just sprint cars in general.
Your grandfather was a winner in USAC multiple times as an owner. Your dad went and won multiple track championships in Indiana. But at Phoenix Raceway, you're going to have a chance to take home arguably one of the greatest pieces of hardware in all of motorsports across this planet. What would the Bill France Cup mean to add to the Briscoe Family Trophy Case?
Yeah, it's crazy just to think that's even a possibility. First and foremost, I mean, I remember, I mean, it was like 12 years ago. I was just trying to win a Bloomington Speedway track championship, and that was like the biggest thing in my life I thought that I would ever win. And didn't win it either, but I just remember like how much that meant to me at that point in my life. And yeah, to now know that you have a chance to, win, the Bill France Cup and the NASCAR championship, it's crazy. I just remember the whole journey that I went through just to even race a NASCAR sanctioned race, let alone a cup race. And now to, have a chance to, I mean, literally a 1 in 4 shot to be a champion is pretty unbelievable. So yeah, it'd mean the world to not only myself, but certainly my family. I would say it honestly probably mean more to them than it does even me. Just because they've obviously went through the whole story, right? All the way back to the 70s, where I'm just a small chapter of that. But I think just all the, blood, sweat, and tears that have went into the Briscoe family racing since 1970s, it would all kind of, I don't know, I guess come to fruition if I was able to do this. So yeah, it would definitely be really special.
I know everyone in Mitchell, in Bloomington, probably in Hobstadt, all of Indiana going to have their eyes glued to the TV when we reach Phoenix Raceway November 2nd for NASCAR Championship Weekend. Chase, excited for you. Have fun. Remember to soak it in, but also remember, I think that there's a lot of your book still being written.
I appreciate it. Thank you.